when Gachagua takes over in 2032, he will undo all the things Ruto will have done. And Gachagua is not Ruto. You will feel state power if Gachagua is in State House. You will feel state power. You will see the power of state if Gachagua is the president. Because Ruto is tough, but it's more from talking than real. Because you can bet your last breath and your last cent. If Gachagua is the one who took over in 2022, that commission on state capture would have taken place.
Well, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Such a pleasure to always have you on board on Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show. I'm yours truly, Evans Okinyi, and I'm glad to have you on this show and on this good platform. I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora, who is a political analyst and, of course, the University Don at the University of Nairobi. Prof, how are you?
Good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
And indeed, as we always say, we are still on the ground, focusing and looking at how different leaders are moving around and some of the political moves that are actually taking place in this particular country. And of late, the deputy president has been on the limelight, has been trending, and has been actually in the news for quite a while. I wonder how that would actually help in building his political life herein, and perhaps if that could actually give him a lifeline. But then recently he decided to tour the the Rift Valley region, and of course was there at the president's backyard. This actually came after the rumors of the rift between him and the president there, in a rift which you actually dismissed here in our last show. But here we are now looking at it this way. The deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, went to Western Gishu County and openly told off some of the leaders from that particular area and told them to stay in their lane and stop meddling in Mount Kenya politics. And we've seen that kind of scuffle back and forth between him and Kapseret Member of Parliament, Oscar Sudi. Some people are saying he's stooping too low to reduce himself to a level where he could actually argue with somebody like Oscar Sudi. What do you make of that kind of argument that we saw between him and the Kapseret Member of Parliament?
It's an age-old tactic, tried and tested. Take the vote to your enemy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Go and scare them right at their home. You know, it really works. And Gachagua is a master, I think.
Okay.
Take it right to them. And actually he was warning them. Yeah, he was just warning them. Yeah. I mean, he was just being civil, but even the body language was betraying him. He was just warning them. He said, don't think we are fools. And don't think you can take us for a ride. We helped Ruto to become president, and we want to support him up to 2032. But don't take it for granted. Yeah.
But Prof, most of the times when we've seen political leaders moving and touring certain regions, when they go to a certain region that they perhaps perceive hostile to them,
they speak well.
They normally speak well.
Yeah.
Why do you think the president now this time round decided to change the tune?
You can be defensive or offensive. There's always the danger in being defensive. So he wants to be offensive. That brings him out as a man you are not going to play around with. What that does for Gachagua is to endear him to his home ground. Because people like tough people, you know that. It's in human nature for us to admire people who are tough. So when Gachagua goes right to Ruto's backyard, Eldoret, and backs the way he was backing, it makes very many people happy on Mount Kenya region, Mount Kenya area.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how, because I did not actually get to understand him. At the same time, he was there saying that he actually enjoys a cordial relationship with the president.
You must say that.
But at the same time, so what
you can't go there and say,
how do you attack while defending at the same time?
It is you are not defending, you are attacking, but blowing so that the blow doesn't hit so hard. Yeah.
Okay.
You bring in the issue of supporting the president, having supported him to win, supporting him to continue, supporting him to do his job, supporting him to finish up to 2032. That then gives you the platform from which to now say, from a safe platform, that you people don't take us for granted. Yeah.
What do you make of...
And then there's something else. It also isolates the people like Sudi. And makes the community begin to look at them differently. You see? So Gachagua is playing it in such a way, the people of Rift Valley are looking at Sudi as a spoiler. Look, Gachagua and the Kikuyus helped us to get this power. Why is Sudi being so naive as to attack the Kikuyus? You know, when you attack Gachagua, you're attacking the Kikuyus. Remember, when you are living the life Sudi is living, not everybody is happy with you, including your own brothers. Yeah.
And
people are not happy the way he's all of a sudden with all the monies. To show you that is true, there's already a conversation about him not being suitable to be MP for where is it? Is it cases? No, not cases. Kapsaret, because they're saying it doesn't come from, it's not from that area. It's supposed to be from Marakwet. That conversation is there. It's a big conversation. That shows you he's already put himself in a state where he has many people who are hating him from his own area. So Gachagua is taking advantage of that. Yeah.
Talk to me about this. There are certain people who believe that Oscar Sudi is not a match for the deputy president.
Yes.
And therefore they are faulting the deputy president for reducing himself to the level of Oscar Sudi. I wonder whether these people perhaps are just taking this man for granted, or maybe they may be right in their own right.
They are right, but they're also wrong because they don't get the situation very well. You see, Oscar Sudi and a few others, Oscar Sudi is the face of the opposition against Gachagua. Because of the amounts of money he's holding. He's therefore the one seen to be funding and sponsoring the Ndindi Nyoros and the Ishungwas. You see? He's the one who's putting them on steroids to attack Gachagua. So you go for the honor of the dog. So even Ndindi Nyoro and Gachagua and Ishungwa are the dogs, the honor of the dog. The one at least who takes care of the dogs and feeds them is Sudi. The really honor may be somebody else. But the one you can attack, because you may not attack the really honor directly, who will be the president. So you attack the proxy. And the proxy is the one who is being used to feed the dogs to attack you. It's an age-old tactic. It happens like that in politics. Yeah.
Do you believe Oscar Sudi would be doing this out of his own volition?
What would he gain?
This is actually what we are asking. What would he gain?
What would he gain from that?
So does it mean that there is another face behind
there is a script.
Oscar Sudi?
There's a script, and that's why Gachagua is coming out fighting, because he has gotten to a point where he can see. He could be wrong, but I think he has gotten to a point where he can see things are not what they should be between him and the president. And therefore, he has to choose what to do. He can sit, bid his time, and wait for 2027 to go through the guillotine. He's removed, Mudavadi is given on Ndindi Nyoro or whatever. He can wait. But he can also fight. Faced with the same situation, Ruto chose to fight Uhuru. Somebody else would have resigned. Somebody else in Ruto's place would have resigned. Somebody else would have kept quiet. Ruto chose to fight Uhuru directly. Directly. And he took the war right to the mountain where Uhuru comes from. And successfully so. So Gachagua is just perhaps being a good student of Ruto.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, you're saying here that Gachagua is actually fighting back. But you're saying here that perhaps Oscar Sudi is only being used.
Yeah.
And you're saying that the only possible person who would be using Oscar Sudi is the president.
If the game goes, there's nobody who can remove Gachagua. Unless it is the president who doesn't want that. You are not liking Gachagua will come to nothing if Ruto doesn't think so. So if we are just saying if indeed there is a scheme to remove Gachagua, it can only come from Ruto. If there's a scheme even to weaken him, not necessarily to remove him, you can just weaken him and render Mount Kenya irrelevant in 2027. You weaken Gachagua, You divide the mountain because Gachagua is strong, Ndindi Nyoro is strong, Moses Kuria is strong, Kimani Ichung'wah is strong, and they are fighting among themselves, Alice Wahome, everybody else. In that mix, the mountain becomes irrelevant to the extent that they are not a united front. That way you can play your game in 2027, even if Gachagua remains a running mate.
Okay.
And Gachagua can read into that, if that is the case. He can read into that and kind of throw a spanner into the works, as they say. Yeah.
If this is the case, the deputy president says that he enjoys cordial relationship with the president,
Yes.
and he has dismissed any claims or any rumors of a rift being there in between the two. I also had this conversation with you, and you said that there is no, let me say, bad blood between the two. But here we are. Why would Gachagua be defending himself against the likes of Oscar Sudi, whom you've told me here maybe used kind of? Why would he be doing that if at all he enjoys the cordial relationship with the president?
You see,
is he not being threatened in a way?
This idea of cordial relations, even Uhuru and Ruto, they kept telling us there was nothing between them. They were very good friends.
Okay.
It is only towards the dying days of the Uhuru's president that Ruto came out openly. All along they said there was nothing wrong. Amani Wongo. How many times did Ruto on TV say there was nothing between him and Uhuru Kenyatta that was bad? How many times did Uhuru Kenyatta dismiss that until the last moment? So it is possible. It is also possible that Gachagua is reading the signs wrongly. It's again possible. Maybe the president has nothing against him. Yeah.
But why would he say that the likes of Oscar Sudi are actually meddling in the politics of Mount Kenya region?
But of course they are the ones who are relating with the Ndindi Nyoros. Yeah.
Okay.
You saw that there's a function in which helicopters were doing almost like an aerial show. Trying to show who is powerful, who has better helicopters, who can land fast and take off fast, who can drop millions and they take off. That kind of thing. It will annoy you. You don't have to be Gachagua. Anybody can be annoyed. Yeah, you don't have to blame Gachagua. Even MPs, when other wannabes, let's say you are an MP for Suna East, and there are people there, small fellows who want to unseat you, and other MPs from other area or ministers accompany them. You can't take it lightly.
Okay.
Yeah, you have foreigners with power sponsoring your opponents. So if Sudi and the rest have money, and obviously they have money, anybody can see it. Yeah? And they are the ones who are fueling the rift in the rift on the mountain. They are the ones who seem to be putting Ndindi Nyoro on steroids. Then Gachagua will be justified to come out fighting. And trust Gachagua, he will not be in defense. He will fight.
How successful?
And he will take the word right to their doorstep. Yeah.
How successful would be an onslaught against the deputy president led by the Rift Valley kind of MPs, of course, the likes of Oscar Sudi, whom he has mentioned here directly?
You see, take it this way. First, Gachagua has succeeded to show that the community is being divided by people who are being used by outsiders. Very important. That one is already successful. Most people in Mount Kenya, whether they like Gachagua or not, can see the attempt to divide Mount Kenya and make it irrelevant. And they can see the people being used, Ndindi Nyoro, Gachagua, Kimani Ichung'wah, my friend, Kina Moses. That is obvious. Wherever they sit, they must know that is true. That's how they are perceived by the community today, rightly or wrongly. Secondly, Gachagua is now introducing the Kalenjin angle. By going to bring in Sudi, you are now introducing the Kalenjin angle. You get it? You are now saying, look here, it's not just an attempt to divide us, but the people doing this openly are people we help to put in power. So there's a slap in the face.
Okay.
That's what he's succeeding to do. He has already succeeded in showing Moses Kuria, Kimani Ichung'wah, Ndindi Nyoro, and a few others are being used by outsiders to divide the mountain. He's now bringing in the Kalenjin angle. The Oscar Sudis are behind the entire scheme.
Okay.
It works. It works. It works. And that's why I've always advised people from the present side, be very careful. One, how you are perceived to be dealing with Gachagua, especially given the history of Uhuru frustrating you. don't repeat the same mistake. Because people not understand it. Even if there's a problem between you and Gachagua, find a way of handling it. Don't do it the Uhuru way. And don't use other people, because the mountain will not accept. I've also advised them, the people who are around the president, his own people, you know, we are a country of ethnicities and everything. Your own people should be very careful about the things they say to outsiders. It's not taken lightly when Sudi, from the president's place, is seen to be fighting Gachagua. It doesn't come out well. It doesn't come out well. Yeah.
Would you say that perhaps the deputy president was actually responding to the president?
Of course. Of course. I mean,
that is the person he was addressing.
If you get tortoise on the table, like they say, somebody has put it there. Mzee Kobe anaweza kupanda kwa meza. These barking dogs have their owner. Yeah. Hata chokora town guza moja ndio utajua kwa na wenyewe. Yeah.
But look at the volume and the strength of the barking itself. Yes. How the dog, you're talking about the barking.
Well-fed dogs.
But look at the manner in which the Honorable Oscar Sudi actually
the arrogance,
the kind of arrogance, and how he actually replied to the president. Yes. And told them,
the deputy president,
told the deputy president, and told him mimi si mtu wa kutishwa and all that.
It's good. He's working for Gachagua. He's acting. Okay. When he opens his mouth to say like that, that hubris, that arrogance. To me, I like it. He's confident. I like Sudi because he's a confident guy, self-made and confident. I admire Sudi in some ways, not in all ways. There are things about Sudi I admire. But you see, that's not how the Kikuyus will perceive it.
Okay.
Yes. We have given you food, the presidents, mumeshiba, sasa mnatoa shati tuone tumbo. That's how it is coming out. And that's why can't these people give me a job to be the advisor? Yeah, why can't they just, I will tell Sudi, please, if you want to defend the president, keep quiet. Anytime you open your mouth against Gachagua, you are not attacking Gachagua, you are attacking the Mount Kenya people. That's how it comes out. Yes, it's not about Gachagua. And Gachagua knows it so well. Gachagua is more seasoned than people think. He knows the moment Sudi open. When you attack Sudi, you know he'll come back fighting. And when he comes back fighting, he will come out fighting the Mount Kenya people, not the Gachagua. You get it? And that's why some of these, in developed places, people have advisors. Yeah.
What could be actually the main aim and focus of these people, the likes of MP, of course, Oscar Sudi, the one we are talking about here, of actually attacking the president in that particular region? Do you think that there could be some sort of plot, as it has been rumored, of having the deputy president replaced in 2027?
It's possible. Many people seem to think that Gachagua will be replaced. I hold a completely different opinion, because I hold the view that for Ruto to remove Gachagua is to court danger. Complete danger.
But why would
we be witnessing
this?
It'll be disaster.
Why don't we just see
to me, the best explanation is not that they want to remove Gachagua.
Okay, so what is the intention here?
The best explanation to me is that they want to dangle the carrot to Mudavadi and the Luhya people. That ngojeni tu, ngoja 2032 ni nyinyi. Which is very stupid for my Luhya people. That's what this thing is serving. That we don't want Gachagua. We are just there because the constitution, we can't remove him. You know, we can't remove him. And even in 2027, it will be a little clumsy. Lakini 2032 ni wewe Mudavadi. That's what it is serving. Secondly, attacking Gachagua is not about removing him. It's about weakening the Mount Kenya region to make it irrelevant for future political schemes. Post Ruto in 2032. Who takes over will be determined of how well Ruto can do his things uninterrupted. If you fragment the Mount Kenya and establish a relationship with Raila and the Luos, and then Mudavadi and the Luhyas, and then all you need to do is fragment the Kikuyus, and you are good to go. That's what it's serving, not to remove Gachagua. Because touching Gachagua will be dynamite. You see, and I've said this before, you touch Gachagua, remove him. The entire Mount Kenya will be united. They can be united to have their own candidate in the name of Rigathi Gachagua. They can be united in the anger and support Kalonzo Musyoka. Either way, Ruto will go home. Because if it is Gachagua they are supporting, he will be number 1 or number 2. Then there will be a runoff. In the runoff, he may win or may not win. But here is the danger. Gachagua and indeed the Mount Kenya people can afford to stay out of power for 5 years in 2027. To harness the anger. To harness. And that's how it can be very easy for the Mount Kenya people to support Kalonzo. To stay out of power. And harness the anger. And then they come back in 2032. When Gachagua takes over in 2032, he will undo all the things Ruto will have done. And Gachagua is not Ruto. You will feel state power if Gachagua is in State House. You will feel state power. You will see the power of state if Gachagua is the president. Because Ruto is tough, but it's more from talking than real. Because you can bet your last breath and your last cent. If Gachagua is the one who took over in 2022, that commission on state capture would have taken place. He would have destroyed some of these people like some of these dynasties. Gachagua would have destroyed them. And he was serious about things like commission on state capture. Ruto could not. Ruto, he's stepping on some places and he knows he's sensitive. He doesn't have what I would call what it takes to do to take certain drastic actions against certain cartels. Not so with Gachagua. Put Gachagua in State House in 2032, all the things these guys will have done, he will undo them. And take this to the bank, you will feel state power. So he can afford to sit out for 5 years. Okay. And that's why I'm convinced. This game is not about removing Gachagua. I don't think the president can be that naive. This is meant to hoodwink the lawyers that you'll take over because we don't want Gachagua. We are just tied to him because of the constitution and because of the risks of 2027. We can't take the risk. So we can't remove him now because of the constitution. In 2027, if we touch him, we may lose Kikuyu votes. So let him go as a running mate, deputy president, but you are the ones we are supporting. That kind of stupidity. That's what it is serving. And also, like I've said, divide the mountain. Make friendship with the Luo and the Luya. And rule until 2032 and determine who succeeds you. That is the game, but not to remove Gachagua. Removing Gachagua is a no-brainer. You can't do it. No. It will injure you badly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from Professor Herman Manyora here. Definitely weigh in on this conversation and tell us what you think about the recent words, or rather exchange of words between the president and the Kapsaret Member of Parliament, Oscar Sudi therein. We are still on the ground and we'll bring you up to date with comprehensive analysis of all that is taking place in this country and across our borders. Allow me to stop at this particular moment till we have this conversation again. Have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.